Fizzle Bank. Draw. Cards you draw with your hero power becomes 0 cost. It's like Millhouse Menastorm, right? Or is it? Not really. I don't know. I think this card is going to be really good. It's going to be awesome with the Imperial Artisan for Henlocks. Because the Henlock average card count is... Actually, let's go over. How heavy... What's the average mana cost in Henlocks? 5-ish? 4? 4.5. 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 is more likely. So, you're drawing 4.5 mana cost with a 6 mana. 4/4 is 4 mana, so for 2 extra mana and a hero power, which you're gonna use, I guess. So for 2 mana, you're getting 4.5 mana cost. Yeah, this is gonna be at worst average. At worst, it's gonna pull off the mana curve in average. So pretty good. I always talk about how mid-range and late-game cards are like really bad, so that's good. They have something to buff the mid-range and late-game cards combo. And next one I didn't talk about is Justicar Trueheart. I talked about this. In fact, I predicted this card. I didn't predict the card cost and the attack end. Like I didn't predict the stats and mana curve, but I predicted, hey, there's gotta be a card that's gonna upgrade your hero power if they have cards like this. Otherwise, it makes no sense, right? Which I'm super happy about, that my predictions were correct. Place your starting hero power with a battle one. I think that's gonna be pretty good on Warrior. Like hero power for 2 mana, get 4 armor. Only thing does not double up is it basically double up all your hero power. Except for Hunter. Hunter does 3 damage instead of 4. But everything else is just double. You double everything. Poison Dagger is a 2/2 weapon. Double... Oh, except for Shaman, I guess. Not. Summon a totem of your choice. Soul Tap also is not double. You don't lose health for Soul Tapping anymore. But Tank Up. Actually, is a Soul Tap? No, the Henlock's gonna be useless. You actually lose 1 health. In current Henlock. Maybe it'll be nice in Malighost Lock. For Rogue, I don't see it being too efficient either. I think I'd rather run Auctioneer than Trueheart. Unless there are more, synergy, like the new Druid card that came out. Where's the new Druid card? If there are Rogue cards like this, give your hero plus to attack this turn, Inspire. Like, yeah. 4 attack Rogue. Yeah, unless there's a synergy like that, it's gonna be useless. I don't see this being too beneficial for Shaman either. Or maybe it is, because you control RNG with that now. I don't know, board control is so important for Shaman, I don't think you want to sacrifice potential. Like 6/3 is like 4 mana card, right? So you're sacrificing a Yeti by playing 6 mana card compared to Yeti, compared to Karn, compared to Cairn, or compared to Seven Humming, compared to Sky High Golem. You're sacrificing a 4 mana creature by playing this card, and you have just, instead of random totems, you have a chosen totem. So not as good. But yeah, for controller, it's gonna be awesome. You just play this 1 turn. Unless there are a bunch of aggro decks still in meta, which is possible. Unless that's the case, this card is gonna, make the control warrior deck crazy insane. Let me actually make sure. Oh, North Sea Kraken. Yeah, I don't need to talk about that. Sorry. I don't need to talk about this one, I don't think. Garrison Commander. You can use a hero power twice on your turn. For 2 mana, I don't see this being beneficial unless you have played a Trueheart. Then this card is good for other classes. Like Shaman, you can play Totem, Taunt Totem, and Spell Power Totem 100%. You can play 8 armor. Yeah, you can gain 8 armor with Control Warrior with 4/6 mana. But then you have 2/3, so trade-off is that you get 3 extra armor compared to Shield Maiden, and then you lose 3/2 stats, so it actually is not as good that turn. Yeah, it's not so good for Control Warriors. I guess for Hunter, it could be really good. I can see it being useful for Hunter. Because 2 mana, you have, it's 2 mana, but then it's not guaranteed, but or Priest, I guess. You heal yourself for ×2, or heal. Yeah, healing spread would be really good with a priest. So priest and hunter, I see this being useful quite a bit. I'm not sure about the other classes. Like mage is not so strong unless you buff a mage hero power. Using it, being able to use it twice is not too beneficial. Inspire, Colosseum Manager, return this minion to your hand. Come on, really? I mean, 3 mana 2/5. Actually, you know what? This card, I don't know. It's not bad. Rogue for 2 flurries, but you can still use a flurry and dagger up and attack. You can only attack once. Still same thing. I don't. I'll have to see. This card sucks in aggro meta, which it is right now. But maybe it's good in control meta. Like tank a shot and return back for control warriors. No, not control. It's way too weak. Not sure, but I don't know how to evaluate this card. You will have to see. We'll have to see if there's a synergy returning card to your hand and then like playing it. Maybe for handlocks, it could be nice. Maybe for handlocks it can be nice because to play turn 3, you played just like you play what's that 2 for? Imkyang Boss, and then you just return it back to your hand and play like Mountain Giant, and you play this again for like 6 mana total. Could be crazy. Flame Juggler sucks in my opinion. It's like it's at best worst Knife Juggler in my opinion. It's flat out, and it only does less damage too. But if there are more cards like this, I wonder if there's a Battlecry synergies. It's gonna come out pretty soon. Because GVG had the lot of Death Rattle synergy, but there's no Battlecry synergy if you think about it. There is no Battlecry synergy. Anyways, Clockwork 9 is a 5/5 for 5 mana, +1/+1, so technically 6/6 for 5 mana. But is 5-drop needed in mech decks? I guess it's a good question. Mid-range mech deck is possible because of that, so that's good. What's a 5-drop mech cards? Cobalt Guardian not used. Repair Bot, there's no way you use that card over upgrade Repair Bot. Sage Engine is kind of bad. There's a Heal Bot. So you're only replacing Fel Reaver. So is that going to be enough replacement for Fel Reaver? Fel Reaver is really yellow, so you want to have in like super bursty decks, but then maybe there's a... Even Mech Mage you want to play Fel Reaver. 6/6, 5/5, yeah, 6/6 for 5 mana is pretty good. I guess it's just going to add to just more solid mana curve that plays into mid to late game. Give your hero plus to attack this turn for 4 mana 5/4. 4 mana 5/4 is kind of bad. But then Inspire plus to attack, so it's like Savage. Looking at the card. Savagery deck? Is it coming back? Savagery? Yeah. New card reveal from Gamescom. A few new cards, including 2 Paladin ones, have been spotted at the Hearthstone booth at Gamescom 2015. Oh, wait, no pictures were allowed. Alright, but you should know. Even if the pictures weren't allowed, you should know, because all the card art are the basically fan arts or the graphic designers that was drawn from a long time ago, so you should be able to just search it. But whatever. Anyways, Skeleton Knight, 7/4 for 6 mana. Reveal a minion in each deck. What? If yours costs more, return this to your hand. I don't know if I like that at all. It makes sense. Like, you want... This is for aggro. So this is for basically aggro deck. If you have a Paladin, aggro Paladin, for example, chances are that your minions is gonna cost very, very little compared to, like, opponents. And those Paladin, aggro Paladin decks run out of cards fast. And the only way for you to draw is Divine Favor. And I talk about this time to time, but if you want a synergy, you want to have four cards drawing. So what people do is they will have, but Divine Favor actually draws usually like 3 to 4 cards easily. So you need like 3 cards, in my opinion. But then you don't have that last card. So what people do is they will have a Hem of Wrath, and those are the like 2-card draw for 4 mana, deal 3 damage, the draw a card. So technically, combine them together, it gives you extra boost somewhat. Like it costs a lot more, but it still does the damage. So It's like Divine Favor, draw 2 cards, right? It costs 1 mana to, well, not really, because your 1-drops and 2-drops usually do more than 1 damage, but the Hammer of Wrath deals 3 damage, so it's like 1.5 mana compared to your other cards. So you're paying 2.5 mana to draw 1 card, which is a little expensive. So this card can be like that. It's just a filler for aggro decks. 7/4, and you don't need to draw cards with this card because it's gonna come back to your hand anyways. And you know what I don't actually know what revealed minions do. Do they just go back to the deck, or do they just randomly? Oh, they don't even pop from the deck. They just, oh, here's a minion from the deck, and here's a minion from the deck. I'm just compare it, and bam, and I can just play it again when it dies. And that way you can actually take a look at peek at your opponent's deck, kind of. So cool card. I don't know if the cost is right. 7/4 for 6 mana. It looks very expensive. 7/4 is basically 5 mana, right? So you have infinite draw with this card technically. If you have an aggro Paladin, which none of your minions should cost more than 5. Leroy, that's it. Everything else costs like 2 or less. Yeah, it's like, is that 1 mana worth? Not even, like the only 7/4 I can think of is the Salty Dog for 5 mana, and I'm pretty sure this is why, and it's like, oh, draw a card. Draw exact same card, copy of it, and it costs 1 mana. But Salty Dog is not really played, so is the 7/4 worth it? Not really in my opinion. A little too slow, still. A little too easy to get rid of, even considering infinite draw. If this was 5 mana, or 6 mana and like 9/4. Oh man, then I guess it's a little could be a little overpowered. But yeah, I like the concept. I really like the indestructible card, kind of, in some decks. The conditionally indestructible card, something like that. I don't know if it's gonna be used too much, because the Hammer of Wrath does much better job in my opinion. Maybe it'll be used. Like, it's not. You could have just 1 card. It's a legend, so you can only have 1 card anyways. Let's go to next card. Eodric the Pure. Battlecry, changing all the enemy minions attack to 1. Wow. So it's Alder Peacekeeper for everything. So this card pushes everything to... I like it has 3 attack, which kills a patient, by the way. So it's another buff to mid-range Paladin, not just aggro Paladin. Like the concept. It might be a little too weak. It's like I really like the effect, but it's only good against like massive cards, like against a zoo, for example. You also have to keep in mind that it also makes the egg cost 1 attack, become 1 attack, so egg can attack now with this. Against control decks, it's another removal. Against the handlocks, this is the handlock killer. If you think about it, you just go face. So for mid-range Paladins, if you run 2 equality, or you have 2 conditions, you have 2 winning conditions: equality, consecrate, and you just go face until they get low enough. They go with the Molten Giant, Wall of Molten Giant, and then bam, equality, consecrate, and you just win the game. However, it's just something small that it doesn't get rid of the taunts, but it will give you a huge board benefit by playing it. So I like the concept. Again, but it might be. I think the attack on this for the cost might be a little too high. No, a little too low. So it might be something like the spider thingy. What's the spider card called? Hang on. So it might become like second Mechs now, where the card looks pretty good, but it's not used because the attack point is way too low, and it's a little too defensive. But I really like the idea as well. Just another push on mid-range Paladin, which is something we needed, because all the combo decks, basically all the combo decks kills mid-range Paladin, and you need the way to stop that if you want to buff from mid-range to control Paladins. I wish this was like 6 mana, 6/3/5 or 3/6. Maybe a little cheaper to make it reliable early game as well, because this card is absolutely useless against face decks. Not absolutely, but likely useless versus hyper aggro decks. But then mid-range Paladin, I guess, is okay versus hyper aggro if you play double zombie chow and stuff. But then where are we gonna put this in? Anyways, next card, Argent Lens, Battlecry, reveal a minion each. What's up with the revealing a minion with each deck? If it costs 1 more, if your cost more, gain +1 durability. I do not know This they didn't specify it, so but it is Argent Lance, so I'm assuming it is Paladin one. Reveal a minion each deck. If it costs one more, +1 durability. I don't know. 2 mana, 2/3. Do you really want the durability? I think I'd rather have I'd rather have Mustard. 3 mana, 3/3. It's basically 3 mana, 3/3. This one is 2 mana, 2/2, and potentially 2 mana, 2/3. If you have an aggro deck, do you really need this over Cockhammer or Mustard for battle? I think that those two might offer you a little more. Cockhammer is really good, 3 mana, but it gives you like a taunt, so it protects your other minions, whereas this one does not. I don't know. I like the concept of the. I guess they're introducing new reveal concept, and they're just trying to come up with the not so OP card just to introduce the concept, which I understand. Next one, Armored's Warhorse. Reveal a minion from each deck. Again, if it costs more, gain a charge. But this one, yours has to cost more. I don't know, man. This card looks crappy to me. 5/3 for 4 mana is awesome, because charge it should cost 4/3, or should be like... Actually, is it 5/3, 4 mana? It's like right between Leroy and... yeah, it's just like right between Leroy and Wolf Rider. It's doing for 1 mana, it does 2 extra damage, which is great. If it has a charge, that is. But then for face decks, it doesn't really work because your deck has to be heavier. So question is, in Control Warrior deck, do you want 4 mana 5/3 in control decks? Control Warrior deck, do you want it? The answer could be yes. Time to time, you could use a charge here and there. Charge can be defensive card by removing minion instead of taunting up and fearing being owled. So against aggro decks, time to time, I'll just, if I think that my opponent has a double owl in the deck, which a lot of aggro paladins do, sometimes I'll just charge with my Druid Claw in Druid deck, unless I have another taunt, so I can just play another taunt next turn. If yours cost more, gain a charge. Again, I don't know. This is really, really, really situational, meta dependent cards, so I can't really talk about it. So, if you can play some sort of control deck that doesn't get wrecked by mid-range. Actually, you know what? I just realized. This deck's gonna be... This card is pretty good against mid-range Druid as a Control Warrior. It could be a good alternative for a removal. Control Warrior will likely have this charge, right? And mid-range Druids usually out-tempo your Control Warrior opponent by playing Ancient of Lore, and you kill that with this, and then you have 3 mana benefits, so you don't get wrecked on tempo. That's one use of it. I don't know if I can think of any other use. Maybe like the patron, maybe actually, you know what, Henlock's, maybe. What do you want? 5/3 Henlock. Like Henlock could use it, I suppose. I don't know. I will have to see more cards for this. Also, I have a few more cards to reveal, I guess. The Tuskar Juster Battlecry. Reveal a minion each tag. If your cost more, restore 7 health to your hero. Whoa! This guy is a heal bot. This card is a heal bot. A new heal bot that is better for Control Warriors and Henlocks only, because 5/5 for 3/3 and 8 heal becomes 5/5 for 5 mana and heal 7. Like you only run. Let's see, actually, let's look at the example of Henlock. Nope, that's Morlock. Let's look at the example of Henlock. So yeah, it's something like this. In heavy variation, you just have a Rag and Dr. Boom instead of a second owl. Basically, I'll be 1 or 2 card difference from this. So basically, everything but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minions. Even then, like 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 cards in your deck cost 5 or more, which is likely beat your opponents. Unless you're going against Control Warrior, then it doesn't really matter. You'd rather just have 5/5 for 5 mana against Control Warriors, because you might be able to force them to use removal on it, which is great. So actually, I really like the concept of this card. This card is one of the weaker cards versus midrange, because midrange, yes, 5/5 for 5 mana is great, but you also want to heal. But against midrange, you might not get that. Especially you're looking for those mountain giants, and you're not looking for a molten giant early on. You're looking for yeah, the molten giant will be helpful in your deck. So if you're already drawn into things like molten giant, mountain giants, and other heavy cards, that's bad. But you're not looking for them early on. So yeah, good alternative for Healbot against control and aggro. Against aggro, it works obviously because he healed 5 and 5/5 for 5 mana is great. Against aggro, against control, 5/5 for 5 mana, and you may not need to heal. In fact, you probably just want to lose the health so they can play Molten Giant as soon as possible. I'm not sure what the goal is of Blizzard. This is one of the better cards in my opinion, if the meta is not in midrange, because against midrange this is like iffy card. You unlikely will get, less likely get, like a third time you're not, more than a third of the time you're not gonna get this card heal, but you won't heal against midrange. But I really like the concept. Master Joester, reveal a card minion in another reveal. Reveal a minion in each tag. If yours cost more, gain a taunt and divine shield. I really like the fact this is alternative Sunwalker that has a 5 attack, but is that worth risking? Sunwalker is a good, but 5, just because a Sunwalker becomes a 5 attack, is it gonna be used so much more? Against midrange, yes. Against aggro, no. I think Sunwalker guaranteed Taunt and Divine Shield is much better. So again, it's conditionally iffy cards. I guess, you know what? I like the idea. I like the Blizzard giving us more options and variations per matchup, per midrange, per meta. I like the idea of it. I don't know if the benefit of risking it is big enough, unless you're going against completely aggro. I don't see this being reliable. Because if the cards have those special effects a third of the time or half of time, do you want to really risk it? Do you want to use a card that, 50-50, you hit face or you hit minion? Like, there are reasons that those 50-50 cards are obliterated in the meta right now. People used to use it in Druid deck because so you just want to get more burst ability, and the Harvest Clump's not doing enough damage, so you use the Ogre Brute instead. But is that worth? I don't know. I think the benefit might not be good enough compared to, it's just one attack comparing to Sunwalker. Whereas a Joester is +2/+2. That's a great alternative. Actually, I will say more like +1 and +2. So instead of 3/3, you're gaining 4/5 and you heal 1 less. So one attack is like 1 heal, I think. Or yeah, Condition Joester, reveal each minion. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours cost more, +1/+1. Wow, this is. Wait a minute. This is another alternative instead of Zombie Chow for Handlocks. Although I do think that the Handlock Zombie Chow can be beneficial for Handlock against the Mage compared to this one, even if you get the 2/3 guaranteed, even if a 2/3 is guaranteed, you kind of want to mirror to then heal yourself, right? And you in Handlock mirror matchup, you actually want the Zombie Chow. You want to heal your opponent so that you get the Molten Giant, whereas your opponent don't. But the other matchups, and Hunter matchup doesn't really matter. Face Hunter matchup, that is. In fact, you want to guaranteed 2/3, like for sure. Your Hunter might be running the 7 high mains, and you do have a 7 to 8 cards that cost 4 or 5 or less. So, and they might be running Dr. Boom as well, so it's like the third chance not get +1/+1, then you're screwed, right? Because it even dies to an owl. Like, it dies to anything. It might not kill Huffer. Which is a big deal. I can see it being useful, but I just don't see it being reliable. A lot of these cards. Some more RNG factors, I suppose. God darn it, Blizzard, why? Gyarados Saber, charge or +1/+1 and stealth. Whoa, +3. Wait, 2 mana, 3/2 and stealth? Not worth. Charge, 2/1. Is this the beginning of the aggro druid? God, looking at the mana for the damage, I don't think it's worth it, but what's up with the stealth? I think I'd rather have 2/3 than 3/2. Charge or stealth? What does a 2 attack charge gonna do? Maybe there are more minions that has 2 attack that are coming up new, then it's useful. Otherwise, I don't see it being too useful. a crowd favorite whenever you play, because there are a lot of cards that does +2 damage. I mean 2 damage AoE, like the Holy Nova, Flame Strike, Blizzard. +2 health is a little easy to kill when it's dealt it, although it only costs 2 mana. And for aggro druid, you kind of want the powered wild instead. Crowd favorite whenever you play a card with a Battlecry. Gain +1/+1. Oh, so wait a minute. Oh, these are Battlecries. And there are a few cards that were really good. Huh. Huh. Dude. So, okay, I see what they're doing. So they're trying to make the Battlecry synergy decks. Which I can totally see it working. If there are a little bit more, like 1 or 2 more of these set, you can actually make these. But the crowd favorite is one of the stronger cards in this deck, so you will need more than one set of it. Like, you can't really rely on one set of the deck doing anything. Because all the other cards are technically unreliable, right? So you want few reliable cards that's gonna do amazing. And according to this, it doesn't have to trigger Battlecry. You just have to play a card with Battlecry. It doesn't matter whether it activates or not. So this card could be really good, actually. Let's quickly review how many Battlecry effects, or what kind of Battlecry effects are there that are amazing. It doesn't have to be amazing, just above average. Because that, if it's above average, I'll use it. Flame Imp, Shadow Bomber. There are not that many class Battlecry cards. Oh wait, that's why. I was wondering why. Okay, Dread Fang. Not useful, not useful. Counter Mage can be nice, so it can be used in Mage maybe? Because Blast Mage, no, it has to be Mech Mage. Mechs don't really have Battlecries, they have Death Rattle, so not for Mech Mage. For Paladin, Aldor, Urgent Protector, Dude Master. So you have 3 class cards. You can even have a Cockmaster, so 4 class cards that you can make use of. And for Priest, Cabal is good, Vol'jin is good, Shrinkmeister is good. For Zoo deck, Flaming Pen, Battle, Doomguard, and Void Terror. Actually, you know what? For a Zoo deck, is that good for a Zoo deck? Flaming Void Terror, Doomguard. Yeah, I can see it working for a Zoo. But it's a 4 mana 4/4 good enough to play in Zoo? No. Is a 4 mana 5/5 good enough to play in Zoo? Almost not. So you actually have to have a 1.5 Battlecry for that. But then cards like Abusive Sturgeon and Owl will make it useful. And you can also play cards like Dwarf instead of the... Dwarf actually used to be played lots. Actually, you know what? They're buffing Zoo. More non-Death Rattle based Zoo, I suppose you can make that work. There are a few cards that are actually pretty decent. They also play Dr. Boom. So in Zoo, Dr. Boom, double Argus, 3. Even right now, in current set, maybe 1 Dwarf. You can also play Big Emuner in Zoo, by the way, if you play slow Demon Zoo, which is one I actually like the most. So 5 in that deck. In that case, you can run double Owl in there with a Void Terror plus a double of Surgeon. Like, a lot of your cards actually have Battlecry. 10 cards plus 12, 13, 14, 13 or 14. 13 to 14 cards Battlecry in Demon Zoo. That is insanely high ratio, actually. Wow, this card could be really amazing. In some of the decks. I really like the concept. But I'm really afraid it might become like the Undertaker, but it's just slow enough it might not become that way. It's easy to remove early on. So a lot of those Battlecry minions will cost. It's good enough you want to play them ASAP. You don't want to save it for a crowd favorite. Bash, deal 3 damage, gain +3 armor. It's like Dark Bomb. Another way to gain armor, I like it. I just don't know if it's a good enough removal. For mid-range, are they pushing mid-range? Maybe there are more armor-centric things that you can make a use of with a bash. Just don't see a place right now, but I'm sure people will find a place. Like aggro warrior, if you think about it, you can use Shoal Slam in aggro warrior. Bash, deal 3 damage face, Shoal Slam, done. I'm not sure though. Brave Archer, Inspire if your hand is empty. Really? Another... Your hand... It does... What? This does 4 damage for 1 mana. No, for 2 mana. Wow. Another Face Hunter deck. Cool. Awesome. This is actually a reliable replacement for, or is it Leper Gnomes? And early on it sucks though, so you wanna like get it out of the hand. God darn it. Alright, these are the cards that you want to have if you wanna play around if you wanna play inspired decks. Cause you're like you wanna upgrade your hero abilities. So it'll be more useful later on. It's like, I don't know, like, like, what the fuck? Like, you don't want to draw into the late game though. So it's a really iffy cards actually. Yeah, you don't want to draw that card late game when you don't have any cards. You want to draw into quick shots and other heavy cards. And if you don't want to draw them early on because Abusive Surgeon and Leper Gnomes are much greater alternative. But I see that they're putting some alternatives in it. Oh, I did not see this actually. Master of Ceremonies, Battlecry. Hey, another Battlecry card. If you have a minion with a spell damage, gain +2/+2. Let's take a look at the spell damage cards. Thanos. Ozuri Drake. Malygos. I don't see this card being too useful with the current set of cards, but maybe if they bring some spell power minions that can be played for cheap early on. Because 3 mana 6/4 is an amazing card. So I guess you can play this in like the tempo mage deck kind of if you play double Ozuri Drake and Thanos, but I don't know. I don't see this being too useful for now with the current set of cards. A lot of this set of cards are only good if there are a lot of the other set of cards that supports this. For example, yeah, this is a great example. If there are more spell damage minions that are coming out, then yeah, it's gonna be really, really good. But alright, so let's look at this video. It introduces a Joust.
I am undefeated.
What? Yes, you're defeated. Ah! Ah! Okay, yeah, that's how it just works. Kind of cool effects. But we already went over that card. So we know how it just works. It's like comparing your weapons. Instead, you're comparing your minions. Just by merging from their decks, creating a brief contest within a contest, wherein the player each reveal a minion from their deck. Cool. So it makes it more impossible for you to play Hearthstone offline with the actual cards. Highest rank bonus. We love receiving feedback from Hearthstone community. One of the things we've been hearing a fair bit. You mean fair bit as every single season. So the quest log will display highest rank. Wait. Oh! During the months and recognize their accomplishment. Oh, that's cool. Alright. Alright, the highest rank of that season. Additionally, will be award. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you, since that will be always there, you have another reason to just go more forward. If that makes sense. Additionally, we'll be awarding players who progress past rank to 20 with some minor rewards as a way to congratulating them for their achievements. For example, player highest rank was rank 17. Will receive rank 17, not legend, I assume. Haha! Will receive a golden common card, 20 dust, and season card back. I wonder what the legendary reward is actually. Below is example of what. Oh, okay, epic, and a card pack, and 5 dust. Wow, great. Should gain more gold. We also unveiled a number of cards at Gamescom, some of which can be found below. And oh, I don't think I have gone over this one. Add 2 random class cards to your hand from your opponent class. This is Nefarian. Nefarian is a burglar now? Really? Blizzard, you just made a Nefarian burglar. Oh, fail fish. Blizzard. Oh my god. Nefarian just became burglar with this card. Oh my god. Oh yeah, for 3 mana, I think it's worth it. Well, actually, let me actually follow you. So 3 mana, you get the class cards, which is really good. The mirror matchup is one of the most difficult due to your card being good against your opponent and vice versa. Same thing, like the Grommash is really good against each other. Execute is particularly good against the Grommash if you think about it. And both of them are gonna have BK Monarch for playing Control Warrior and things like that. Like they're just the cards you play is gonna be good against your opponents, and vice versa usually. But it's a worth 3 mana, so Nefarian is 8/8 for 9 mana, so that makes Nefarian technically 6 mana 9/9, 6 mana 8/8, which is a great. I see a fair. All right, I see ping fair. I just don't know. Like the Burglary is way too much orange oriented. In sense, you get one good card and one bad card. One bad card is like eye for an eye, redemption when you have like 1/1s on board. Like 1/3 of cards is really bad. Third of cards is pretty good. That are actually, when I say pretty good, those are the cards that are actually used in ranked games. And third of the cards are very situational cards that it may not be worth it. So you're just gonna get one good card and one bad card in average, and one actual something worth playing. So Burglar in average does not seem to make too much sense to me to play it. However, Rogues probably can get away with a lot of class cards. Like I can see Rogue making use of it, because Rogues are really good at clearing boards. So your class cards, regardless what they are, it's gonna be likely good. Like against Warrior, you're gonna buy more self time. Also, just an extra damage you can use, or a removal. Against classes like Mage, it's more just damage, possibly, or counterspell. So yeah, I can see it being useful a little bit more maybe for Rogue and Warrior. And Warrior have Nefarian, so that's good. Bolster when... Wait a minute. Give your taunt minions +2/+2. Now, this is something that I haven't seen. And there's a card, a weapon, warrior weapon, that's a 3 mana, 3/2, and then for each taunt you get, +1... I think that's what it was. +1 durability. Which kind of sucks, because you already have Fire Orax. Why would you ever want to use 3 mana 3... Why would you want to use 3 mana 3/3 instead of 2 mana 3/2? You're just making yourself more vulnerable to Harrison Jones or weapon destructions, and it's just as good. And you can't play it if you draw at turn 2, which is the point, which is one of the reasons that is the most amazing card. But yeah, Bolster, give your taunt minions +2/+2. I just, as of now, I don't see taunts being too useful, unless actually maybe they can come up with a Bolster deck with the some Fury, like there's some mid-range taunts, and with a Warrior you can play things like Dread Corsair. Wow, could not remember the name of that. Dread Corsair. So Warriors do have cheap cards you can taunt, technically. 1 or 2. More than the others, maybe. But still, like, you only have 2 cards, you need a way to draw this card along with it. And you're burning a card, so you better have more than 1 taunt. 2 mana for 2/2 is terrible. It's not giving it. It's not like, oh, give this card minion a taunt into 2. Even then, who uses Wild? Mark of the Wild, right? But Ghoul, Dread Course. Wait a minute, I just realized this buffs patrons. Dread Corsairs and Ghouls. Cool. And some people do use a Sunwalker. And a lot of people use a Belser, right? So maybe something like mid-range Patron with a 1 Belser, double Dread Corsair, and double Ghoul. Oh boy. That'll be interesting. Ancestral Knowledge, draw 2 cards, overload 2. Are you kidding me? Is this card for real? You pay 4 mana to draw 2? This is terrible. Unless there are some actual good synergy, better synergy with the overloads, like that. Only overload synergy we have right now is Lava Shock, and what's the other one? Unbound Elemental. Unbound Elemental is okay, but it's a kind of terrible nowadays, because it starts at 2/4 for 3 mana, which is too bad. And overload for 2, 1 extra mana cost to make it +1/1. I don't think that's worth it. That's like paying, 1 mana +1/+1 on minion. Is that worth? I don't think so. It's not even a card by itself, so you can't combo it or anything. Give your other minions +1/+1. Could you use this with Argus? But then Argus also has a taunt. Muklas Champion. Wow. I don't know what to say about this card. If you draw late enough, There's no way this card is gonna stay, so it's like one-time use. But only swarmy enough deck right now I can think of is the Zoo deck. And the Zoo deck do run out of cards fast, so maybe you can afford a 5-drop that is kind of heavy. You can play on turn 7. And average, I would say you're gonna have about 3 minions on the field. So this card is a 7 mana, 7/5, 7/6, basically. And if it's behind the taunt, the game is over. You win. I can see a potential. I just don't see a consistency with this. Yeah, I would say a Zoo deck around turn 7 usually have about 3 minions on board or so, right? 3 or 4. Usually I would say 3 in average. This is an interesting card. This could be like the new Emperor Terrorism for Zoo. It actually is an Emperor Terrorism for Zoo. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's like Emperor Terrorism, but it's for Zoo. So you don't kill this, you lose. But instead of 5 mana 5/5 or 6 mana 5/5, it's a 5 mana 4/3. Huh. That's a very interesting concept. Battlecry. Deal 3 damage to this minion. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why? What? Why? It's 2/1 for 1 mana that you can heal. So it's synergy with the priest. But and also it's synergized with for a priest. But is that good enough synergy? Is that worth? Is that worth to have a 2/1 for 1 mana? As of now, no, I don't see it, but maybe there are more cards that synergize with it. With things like Battlecry, actually, there are some cards that for each Battlecry you gain +1/+1. Yeah, there's a card that it starts with a 4/4/4 mana, and in each Battlecry you gain +1/+1. So maybe that could be useful, I guess. And this also could be draw mechanic with a Sherston Cleric. No, not Sherston Cleric, Northstar Cleric. And this one, if you have at least 4 other minions, deal 4 damage. At least 4 other minions. That's a real difficult condition to come up. Unless, like now, especially with this is calling for death rattles, right? But then it has a Battlecry. But it is awesome for mana, 4 cards, and I think it's you select it too. It's not random, which makes it by far the best 4-drop in game if you can pull this off. But can you pull this off consistently, even if we're playing Zoo? With the early game being buffed somewhat, like there are a lot more 3/4s now for a lot of the other classes, so it's gonna be more difficult to like get solid board early on. I don't know. That's like, hey, at least it's a legendary, I guess. They're coming up with a lot of legendary cards actually, which makes sense since it's like tournament, so it's like there's gonna be a lot of legends. Hey guys, MaSsan here. Thanks for watching. Please join my channel by clicking this subscribe button and check out more of my videos right here. I appreciate your support. You're awesome. Stay beautiful. MaSsan out.